Hey there, I'm SourceMake, and today we're going to make our very own Firefox add-on. It's going to be a really simple add-on that just shows how to use Firefox extensions, and it's going to make the border of our web page red. So it's a really simple project. You'll see that it's only 3 files. So as usual, I've got my website open, and it's got all the resources that we need for this topic. So go ahead and click the link below this video if you'd like to get to this page, which you're going to need to do if you're going to follow along. And while you're down there, click the subscribe button for this YouTube channel. Thanks. So we've already done a Google Chrome extension video. There'll also be a link to that video below here if you'd like to see that one first, because we're just going to rush through this one actually. It's going to be really quick. It's basically the same thing as Google Chrome, just a few tiny differences. So first of all, what is a browser extension? Basically, a browser extension allows you to write some code that lets you add a bunch of functionality to a web page, or functionality in general. It can be even like a standalone thing that's written in JavaScript. So for example, I've got ad blocks and Ghost Tree to block any advertisements or analytics that load in a web page. That's functionality I find useful. People have made the add-on, so I use it in my browser. And maybe there are some other things besides just ad blocking that you'd like downloading YouTube videos or other popular ones like VPNs, I think are popular, and there are a whole bunch of things that people use. So we want to know how to make our very own Firefox extension, and we are going to do it. So I've got my Linux virtual machine up, and it's got Firefox open, and we are going to make the project now. So I've got my folder open here, and this is going to be what we're going to use in our project. I'm going to open a terminal in here, and this is our project folder right now. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to create a file named manifest.json. So this is exactly like Google Chrome extensions. You need a manifest.json file, and what this file does is it basically defines the entry point of our application and specify some things that we're going to need. So let's go through it. We have a manifest version. We've got a name for the add-on, which is source add-on. By the way, extension and add-on are basically the same thing. It's the same. It's 2 different words for the same concept. We've got a version number. We've got a description of the add-on. And okay, now here we're going to move on to what the other 2 files that we're going to need for this project are. The first one, we define an icon called source 48x48.png. So you specify a 48x48 image in your project folder to be the icon for the project. So for example, I've got uBlock up right here. You see this little icon? You need to have an icon for it. So you just need a picture file. And I've got that here on my website. You can see it. So we're going to save this image, and it's named source 48x48, so let's just save it as that. And it's going to be in our downloads folder, and let's move the icon picture to our project folder. So great, now we have that taken care of. Now this is a little different from Chrome, I just want to mention, because you can specify a 96 by 96 picture for higher resolution, but we're just doing like a basic project right now, so just use the 48. That's all we need for our Hello World example. So next, we have this thing called content scripts. This is going to define 2 important things that's a little different from Google Chrome extensions. So the first thing that you see is this thing called matches, and basically this says that you specify a URL or many URLs. For this project, we're just going to specify one URL for our website, sourcemake.com. And what we're basically saying is that anytime Firefox loads a page that matches this URL, run the add-on. It's kind of, that's it. Just run the add-on if you find a URL that matches this anytime the page loads. So let's look at this string, for example. So we start out with this wildcard, semicolon, / and this wildcard basically says HTTP or HTTPS. Doesn't matter to us. Run it. Run the add-on on either one of those. And then you've got this one right here, this wildcard, that basically says if it's www or any other types of these configurations, which I don't want to go into what they mean, but just include it. Just remember the syntax. You can read more about it if you care. So www or anything like that, dot. And then we're saying sourcemake.com is the website that we want our add-on to run on. So it's not going to work on like google.com because we're specifying it to work on sourcemake.com only. And then we've got that slash, and finally the last wildcard, which basically means any like subpath on the website. So for example, for this particular web page, we've got /home/Firefox addon. So anything like this, or like /directory.html, or the contact page /contact, any one of those is the add-on is going to work for, because the URL matches what we specify the add-on to match for. So next, what happens when we get this match? Well, we're going to run this JavaScript file called sourceborder.js. So let's create a file named sourceborder.js. This is the final file that we're going to need. And basically, anytime our add-on is called to run because it found a match, it's going to run this JavaScript file. And obviously, you can make this as complex as you want and make like crazy functionality. But for us, what we're going to do is we're just going to change the border of this web page to red. So you can see it's just one line of code. Document body style border is equal to 5 pixels of solid red. Simple. Did I save it? I think I saved it. Did it save? Yeah, it saved. Okay. A little paranoid there. And that's it for our extension. So our project is actually complete. Surprisingly, again, just like Chrome, just 3 simple files. Except in Chrome, you define the little pop-up that shows up. In Firefox extensions, you just define the web page functionality if the page loads. So that's a little bit different from Chrome. And when we do our project, we're going to see how to make it better. I'll get more into that when this video ends. So now we want to load this project folder into Firefox so that we can test it out. So what you got to do is you got to say about ;debugging. So I'm just going to type that out. About debugging in the address bar. Press enter. And you can see all the add-ons that you have in Firefox. And what you want to do is you want to load a temporary add-on. And we're going to go to our project folder, which for me is in hacks and Firefox extension. And you can click any one of these and double click it, and the add-on will load into Firefox. And that's it. It works. So let's go to google.com. And no red border, but let's go to sourcemake.com. And I don't know if the red border will load. Oh, okay, it loads because the URL matches. Even though there's no slash here, it's basically the same thing. So we can go to any page on sourcemake.com, and anytime the page loads, Firefox will run our little, I don't see it, but you can't see the icon. I guess it doesn't want to show it, but Firefox will load our source add-on, and source add-on will say, okay, let me use the JavaScript file to turn the border to this page red. And it does that because the URL matches the matching string that we had. So that's it. That's a really simple Hello World Firefox add-on / extension project. You see how easy it is. Just define the manifest file. You have a little icon that you need, which doesn't even show up. I don't even know why you need it to test it, to be honest, but you need it. And you've got this JavaScript file that defines the functionality that happens when the page loads. So it's a little bit different from Chrome extensions, and that's it. But I'm telling you that I'm going to make a much larger extension project that I want to do just to see how we're going to write one set of code that you tweak a little bit for Firefox, you tweak a little bit for Chrome, and the extension works with both. And you know, we're going to make something functional, not just a Hello World project. So I'm going to probably be doing that on Twitch. Again, below this video, there'll be a link to like my Twitter and my Twitch account. So go ahead and follow on those so you can see me do projects, because this is a nice Hello World project to see how this works. But when you really want to do some like good coding, like to make something useful, you need to get more in depth, and what we did isn't in depth enough. So go ahead and follow me on one of those channels, or subscribe to this channel so you can see when we do make a larger project. It'll be useful to learn. So I'm SourceMake. Thanks for learning about Firefox extensions.